Hello, Wankers.
What's up, Vankahs?
Dale Vankas. We got the three boys here in Miami in the sickest Airbnb you've ever seen. Because we do it big. We do it next level. We're the DJ Khaled's of the Formula One podcasting world. Guenther, how you doing? How's your week so far? How's your week in Miami been?
Very busy. My week in Miami. And then the highlight is your Airbnb. You know, it's like heaven, you know.
Yeah.
It's like going into this villa in Miami Beach, you know, and see the ocean far away, but I see it. Yeah, but anyway, no.
What's your favorite part about this Airbnb, Guenther? Your favorite part?
The swimming pool.
Yeah,
yeah. It's so big, you know. It's a XL bathtub, you know.
Yeah, that's right. We like to keep it classy.
That's actually where we've been bathing.
I would even believe you, you know, knowing you guys, you know. So and washing your dishes, everything in there. Oh yeah,
yeah. Well, not all of us can be in the paddock all day, every day. The Mr. Miami that is Guenther Steiner. You've been a busy guy.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Well, we got a lot to cover this episode. Great weekend, sprint, Colapinto, Oscar Piastri, Dominance, Chaos at Ferrari. So much to cover for this week's Vankah Hours, brought to you by BetMGM. But before we get into that, let's cue the music.
Don't fuck smash my door. I'm done the fucking Steiner and I'm back for more. Don't fuck smash my door. I'm done the fucking Steiner and it's time for Vankah Hours, baby. Vankah Hours, baby. Vankah Hours, baby. Vankah Hours, baby.
And we're back. Okay, Guenther, let's chat Miami. Big performance from McLaren. What is your takeaway from McLaren's dominance this weekend?
I mean, we know that McLaren's the best car in the moment. I mean, in the sprint race, yeah, they won it, but it was not so dominant in the race. It's just like over distance, the better tire management. What the takeaway is, like, yeah, they are the strongest team out there now, you know. And but they still, in qualifying, they didn't get it on pole. You know, there's still work to do for them as well. So I wouldn't say that they are as dominant as some other teams were in the last years. They still need to get everything perfect to be dominant.
Why are they so good in the race and not so good in qualifying? What's happening here? They're like a reverse Haas from your days, where you guys would be good in qualifying and bad in the race, and they're great in the race and not so good in qualifying.
I get flashbacks here. You know? I'm leaving. You know, why? I think, first of all, you've got Supermax in a qualifying lap. It's the guy as well. He can pull it off the one lap because the car gives him one lap. But he just the tires, they degrade quicker than the other ones. But in one lap, you know, they can get it done. And the Kimi Antonelli, I think he liked this racetrack, so therefore he got there. You know, you find you're comfortable here. And but in the race, it's just they use the tires less. I guess they will have a little bit more downforce, which will save you tires.
Do you think there's a little bit of, you know, when there's a car that's this dominant and you get the other guys, they can pull it together on a Saturday, is that maybe a little bit of a sign that as good as Lando and Oscar are, they're not necessarily the top tier yet because they're in the best car, but they can't seem to pull out a pole?
You always have to see you're racing against the best of the best.
Yeah.
And that is Max, you know, and Max can be super Max on a qualifying lap, you know. So, you know, I think they're both very good, but in qualifying, and also when you know you don't need to take the big risks, why would you do it? You know, you say, I mean, even if I'm not in pole, in the race, I'm still pretty safe to get there. You know, it's maybe a little bit, I wouldn't say cautious, but you're not like saying, I go 100, I go 99, you know. So, and then if you give 1% to Max, he will be in front of you.
Yeah, but it seems like you kind of have to get pole because Lando Norris probably felt like he was pretty comfortable in second. And then look what happens. He gets punted off the track. So it seems like you might need to get pole to ensure that you're going to win the race.
I think even if you have Max beside you, you're not ensured that you get fastest through the first corner because he's just like, he's this animal, you know?
Okay, well, let's chat about that first lap. Lando gets a good start. Max locks up. They go side by side. Then all of a sudden, we've seen it time and time and time and time again. What's happening? Max is in front and Lando's off the track. No penalty this time. And so now there's a little bit of a discussion about these penalties. It's happened now in Saudi Arabia. Max was mad about Oscar pushing him off track. There's a discussion around, like, what should the racing rules be? In your mind, should that have been a penalty? I think to the letter of the law, it wasn't. But in the spirit of racing, should that have been a penalty?
I think you always have to take the letter of the law. And if it wasn't, it wasn't, because it's written down. If it needs to be changed, they need to change it, because it's this discussion every time. And for me, it's always the consistency. I go back and I bore people by now with it, with the stewards. If you have permanent stewards, they can work on the rules, because if they then write the rules, present them to the parties, drivers, teams, and say this will be the next rules, everybody agrees on. The guys which wrote these rules then have to implement them. In the moment, it's completely. There's different people there every weekend, and everybody, as much as we want, if something is written down, you can. It's still open to interpretation, and that's where you've got this inconsistency.
Right.
And sometimes the drivers try to use that one to their advantage, because look at this, the precedent we set here, and all of a sudden the rule which is written down is not valid because once it was twisted. I mean, somebody saw it different, and somebody did something different. So it's always this inconsistency, why we have this discussion. It should be. It's very difficult to be always very clear, but it could be a lot clearer than it's now, because you see something like this, you think, but what are they going to decide this time? Let's play lottery, yeah.
Right.
But if you were a king of F1, king of the FIA, would you not want, I know I would want some kind of rules that would encourage more corners where they're not, you wouldn't want, because right now it seems like, if Max is ahead, he can shove him off and there's nothing Lando can do. He's got to either back out or a crash. But wouldn't you want a situation where if Lando's alongside, Max has to leave the space so that way they can kind of continue racing? Because right now it's just everything's over in one corner.
I wouldn't say everything's over, but all the racetracks are different. How the start is, there is never anything always the same. So for me, if you are in front, you should be in front, and you need to play your game. And Max is the best one to play the game. And I think Lando said it. I cannot do anything against him, But it's also you play with other people. You use their weaknesses to your advantage. And that's what race car driver do. I mean, if you saw it then in the race, how long did it take Oscar to overtake Max? He set him up. Oscar was setting him up, and then he passed him. Right. Lando took, I don't know, 2 laps longer, 3 laps longer. Yeah. Same car.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so it begs the question. Lando in the post race said, I go for it. People criticize me. I don't go for it. People criticize me. I think he's on.
I think so.
Yes.
You shouldn't listen to people.
Right.
I mean, that's down to why would I listen to people? I do it if I get a penalty, fine. If I don't get a penalty, fine.
Right.
You need to do something. If you listen what the stewards tell you, what you should be doing, I mean, good morning, you will never win a race.
Or what we say. Who cares what we say if you're Lando Norris?
But what you say is very important to him.
Right.
Let's stop there.
Right. I mean, he should listen to what we say. So
Lando, listen to Vankah hours. We are the only ones right, because we know it all, and much especially.
So then I guess my question is, do you think that maybe Lando, there was a miscalculation there, that we know how fast that McLaren ultimately was on the day? I mean, they were 30-plus seconds ahead. Did he even need to get him on lap one? Like, if it was a 50-50, why even take the risk in the first place?
You're never 100% sure that you're this fast, because especially a sprint weekend, you have no data on the tire, how the degradation is. You cannot calculate it. You can guess, but it's it's good guesswork. We all we all thought it was like this, but do you know? No. So what you try to do, and you're a race car driver, you want to be a P1 when you're leaving.
Well, then it gets into the question then, because what you just said about Oscar Piastri being able to get past Max Verstappen in fewer laps in a more elegant kind of tactical way than Lando was able to do it. It then comes again to this question: Oscar, Lando, who's got the edge? And once again, it's another race, 3 in a row now. Oscar Piastri, despite the gritty after the race, looking like the guy.
Yes, but that's what we are saying. Who is winning the World Championship? Oscar Piastri, for that reason,
Yeah. So do you think Oscar is the slower but ultimately better race car driver?
No, I wouldn't say he's slower. I mean, I think talent-wise, they're both the same, and it depends on the form of the weekend, racetrack dependent, car setup dependent. I think speed-wise, they're both the same. They're both very quick drivers. It's just like Oscar is keeping it cool, I mean, he just executes better because he doesn't get under pressure. I mean, I don't think that Oscar is listening what we three are saying,
He definitely isn't listening.
No, he doesn't listen to anybody,
His mother listens.
Yeah.
But, and she only tells him the good stuff.
Okay.
What would you say to Lando right now? What would be your advice to Lando Norris right now?
Just, to focus more on yourself, what you want to do, not what people say, and don't listen to all that stuff. Just try to do the best, and at some stage you will crash into Max. But, I think just get the confidence to do it, Don't be always influenced by what is happening of things you're not in control, what people say you're not in control, because everybody, freedom of speech, can say what he wants, and everybody's got the right to say something, but you don't need to listen and you don't need to care about it. So just do what you want actually to do, and I think Lando knows he's a good racer. He knows what to do. He's always just a little bit shy. He doesn't want to do anything which could be negative. I mean,
would you encourage him at some point? Because everyone's saying, in Hungary, Lando should have just turned evil and done it, or in terms of Max, like, Lewis was getting punted off the track a lot by Max in 2021, and then in Silverstone he was like, "No more. I'm just going to leave my car in, and we're gonna have a moment." Is there a moment in Lando's career where he's just going to say, "You know what? I'm not moving this time, and we're going to have a big moment, and now Max is going to have to think twice because if he does it again, maybe we will end up in the hospital." Because right now I don't think Max is considering that.
No, I think he shouldn't get evil. As you mentioned, he should not get on purpose.
Guenther is not pro-evil.
Yeah, no, it's not pro-evil. He should, this is how I want to race. This is, I think it's right to race. If he turns in on me and if he crash, so be it, Okay. But not get paranoid and say, I have to take him out to make my mark. No, Don't do that. Do what you think you should be doing to race. And if at some stage you crash once or twice, so be it, You have to live with it, Well,
there was this moment where Lando actually gave the place back on his own. Like his team, he did it before the team even told him to give the place back. I guess a part of me thinks, a part of me knows that Max Verstappen would not have done that. Max would have said, "That's my place, and you know what? I'll take the penalty." Because you could have. I was thinking about this. If he had done that, and it was like, "Oh, well, that was actually Max's spot. You overtook him off the track.
You get 5 seconds.
5 seconds. Guess what? You've got clear air. You'll make that up. You'll make that up like this." Yeah. Instead, he wasted 5+ seconds giving Max the place back and trying to get back to him.
And to Chris had to pass him again.
Right.
You pass him, you drive away, 5 seconds, yeah. Thank you very much, buddy,
So that's like a calculation, it seems. It's interesting. We talk about these guys' ethos. Like, Max will never give the place back until he is absolutely instructed by GP and Christian, whoever else has to get on the horn to say, "Max, give the place back. We need you to do this." He'll never do it. Lando does it without anyone even telling him. It speaks to these guys' ethos. I think that Lando wants to be a good guy. He wants this thing to be like a gentleman's sport. But is it a gentleman's sport,
No.
Guenther? No.
Good guys never win, you know that?
Good guys finish last.
Nice guys finish last. Except for us. We're nice guys. Wouldn't you say, Guenther?
We are very nice guys. Yeah. Are we last?
Close to it.
Well, let's talk about a team that's not last, but pretty bad currently. The Ferrari organization having a very tough week. I mean, they had a moment. Lewis in the sprint calls his own shot, gets a podium, gets third place, but then comes Sunday, no pace. They're fighting over the radio. There's infighting. It's just kind of chaos over there. What's your diagnosis? What do you make of this chaotic weekend for Ferrari?
I wouldn't call it absolute chaos. It was, obviously, the car was not on form. I mean, they were struggling performance-wise.
Fighting a Haas.
Yeah,
Yes.
and being behind the Williams.
Yes.
At least the Haas they beat. The Williams they didn't beat, Right. So they were in that position. So that obviously puts pressure onto everyone in there. And I think I will go back to last year, and I said it before. It's the hype we hyped it all up.
Right.
Lewis going to Ferrari. Ferrari was doing very good the second half of the season last year. I think they were very close to the McLaren. What humans think, it will continue like this, and there is a 7 times world champion coming, which is going to be 8-time world champion. It's not happening, turns negative, and all of a sudden you've got the car is not performing. You wanted it to do, or the other ones are performing better. I don't know. I mean, that is then to find out.
Right, but I mean, I think it's one thing to have the car not be good. I mean, that's kind of like that's sort of
Out of control.
That's a pickle. Once that car is made, there's really nothing you can do. That mistake was made 6 months ago, or that lack of performance was made 6 months ago. But operationally, when they're dithering over the strategy, when they, it's almost like they need to play the. I've always said that they should play the on-hold music, when they're like, we are checking, or we'll get back to you, and they're dithering about switching places, and the drivers are getting sassy on the radios, and Lewis is having to make his own strategy calls, and all these things that we've seen since the Vettel era, or Carlos Sainz, where they're having to make their own decisions to make their own luck. I mean, there's got to be. And we've talked to Bernie Collins about this, and she says that there is an advantage when you're at a smaller team and you can just make. There's not a committee of 100 engineers. There's just one person. They make a decision, and whether it's right or wrong, at least it's quick.
And nobody cares if you make it wrong,
Right.
But your Ferrari, you make it wrong or you don't get it right. You got a lot of criticism. It's the outside pressure. Outside pressure always makes people which are in jobs which they are obviously not happy if they lose them. It's procrastinating, or let's see what is happening. And I always say, no decision is the worst decision, because you don't move on. But going back to how the drivers behave between them, I think that's pretty normal. If you are in this position, you are behind, you try to do something which isn't there, and because the car is not performing, and that puts pressure onto everyone. And whatever you do, then it becomes it's just a spiral, it gets bigger and bigger. Nobody wants to make a decision. You're not where you want to be. The drivers then get frustrated. Obviously, I mean, having
Right.
Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton fighting a Williams, they're not proud of that,
Right.
I mean, that is not what they want to do anymore in life. They want to win races and go on the podium.
Yeah.
So they are there fighting, and then it starts. Let the other one by. One bitches on the radio. I'm faster than him. Yeah, sure, you're faster in his DRS.
Right.
But and sometimes you just have to say, let him try to get past, because maybe he's faster, maybe because they had different tires on it, so you think but it didn't work.
Well, I guess here's my question, because it's like they're fighting for these negligible positions anyway, right? Like
I would have been happy with his positions, by the way. Yeah.
Sure. But life's it's all relative.
Yeah,
So that would have been huge for you. For them, it's a nightmare. You're fighting for 7th and 8th anyway, 5th and 6th. Like, this is the time where you really should be working as a team to work your way up the grid, maybe even get out of 4th position into 3rd. So the fact that they're, well, no, I want to get 6th. No, I want to get 6th. I think that the team should be working towards what's the best way that we can maximize the points for the team. And the fact that Lewis is there being like, this is bad teamwork, guys. It's like, why are we prioritizing the individual? I've got the fresher tires right now. Let me go. If I can't get him, then Charles can give him a try later. But there's infighting when there shouldn't be. Like, if you're at the top, if it's McLaren's or it's the Nico Lewis years at Mercedes, I feel like, yeah, let the boys fucking fight it out. But when you're just trying to get 3rd place in the constructors, you should be working as a team, right?
Yeah, but the drivers, in the end, they are drivers. They look after themselves. You can do whatever you want. And obviously, Lewis thought he was faster, but he wasn't. And it's always the same. I mean, I lived it before, it's like the car behind is, then the car in front says, yeah, he needs to come closer. I cannot get closer because I understeer, because of the dirty air, so all these starts. And as much as I think we see it takes a long time, but for a driver, a lap or two, go by quickly, and that to let somebody by, there is not many places on the racetrack to let somebody by without losing a lot of time.
Right.
And Lewis was thinking, I go and get Kimi Antonelli. Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah.
But that's what he was thinking. He didn't know.
Yeah, but he lost 3 laps of good tire life. Medium tire life, in the prime years of the medium.
Even if he would have gone immediately by, he wouldn't have catched it.
But I guess when that discussion started, I think Kimi was 2.5 seconds ahead of Leclerc. By the time they actually made that decision to let Lewis by, Kimi was 5 seconds ahead. So there was 2.5 seconds of gap that they dilly-dallied and didn't even give Lewis a chance to go get him. I mean,
dilly-dallied. That's a nice one.
But this is, but it just feels like this is the pinnacle of motorsport, where you need to make quick decisions, and they're like, we'll let you know in 3 laps, and it's like, well, 3 laps, it's not relevant anymore.
Wait, what's the Italian word for dilly-dallying or dithering or playing dick in your hands kind of? How would you say that in Italian?
I cannot say it here. It's a word you don't use normally in public.
Well, we're just in private.
It's just in private. Nobody's listening.
Yeah,
Yeah. Dilly dally, cazzeggiare.
Cazzeggiare. What's it mean?
Something like this.
Cazzeggiare. Ferrari, stop cazzeggiaring. No cazzeggiare.
Speaking of cazzeggiare, let's move on to our favorite segment, gas or brake.
Williams is going to be the next McLaren.
Step on the brake. Long way to go there. Oh yeah.
You're not buying the hype.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard about that hype. I came completely, whoa, that hit my face, No, we have to wait a little bit there,
But they had a good...
They're doing good, yeah.
They got two good drivers.
Yeah.
Carlos Sainz was at McLaren, helped get them where they were.
Where was Albon? At Red Bull,
Yeah.
But still, I think they've got still a way ahead of them before being a McLaren.
Where do you think they live on the pecking order now?
I mean, in Miami, they were fourth.
Yeah.
Fourth strongest team. I mean, obviously.
In general, though.
Fifth. I would say in general, over the year, fifth, yeah. But pretty solid fifth. I think it's distance to the front, but they've got also distance to the back now,
Yeah, I'm going brake. I think James Vowell's got a lot of hype around him. He looks the part. Everyone thinks he's kind of cute. He gives these candid interviews. He's kind of like a Toto Wolff copycat, but maybe knows a little bit more about data and engineering. And he's right out of central casting. But let's slow our roll here. Let's slow roll. I'm pumping the brake.
I am feathering the gas, baby. Listen, I was a James Vowell's hater. But you know what? I can say when I'm wrong, and this guy has proved me wrong few times. I said, Carlos Sainz, there's no fucking way you're going to get Carlos Sainz. He got Carlos Sainz. And now they've got money. They've got real money behind them. From what we're hearing, Darlington Capital is throwing a lot of money behind the Williams organization, and their pace in Miami was shocking to me. And then the fact that Alex Albon was able to hold that position, I think that they are on the up and up. Buy the Williams stock right now. Next prompt.
Lewis is regretting his decision to go to Ferrari.
Brake. I mean, he knew what he was doing. I mean, for him, it was like more a mission in life to end his career as a driver at Ferrari. It's a dream of a lot of guys. Obviously, maybe he hoped to be better off, but I think he's got time. He's got, times to still make up, but I don't think he's regretting it. Obviously, he finds it hard. He's not happy where he is in the moment, and he finds hard the position he is in. But, it could be a little bit better but at Mercedes now. But Mercedes didn't win a sprint race yet. So, he was at Mercedes. He wasn't at McLaren, let's say. So therefore, break.
I'm going full gas. I think a man of his age, they like to think they're open-minded. They like to think they're open to trying new things. As I get older, I try new things. I'm like, you know what? I'm okay. Let's try this restaurant. Let's try that. I'm like, I got my staples at this point. I'm not changing at this point. I can't even imagine how calcified I will be when I am 40. Now he's got to go to Italy. He's got to learn a new language, new brakes, new operating system. It's just like he's got to be a freaking new engineer. He had a nice, comfortable life at Mercedes, and now it's a big culture shock.
It's not about comfortable. It's about exciting life.
It's exciting is for your 20s. Exciting is for
I'm
your
60.
20s.
I still wanted exciting, You just aged more than anybody else I know.
What was the last fun
stupid
adventure?
thing I did?
What time did you go to bed last night, Guenther?
9 o'clock.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And you know what? Your friends were hanging out, and you said, I'm not doing it.
I couldn't do it physically.
Exactly.
Exactly. And you know what else Lewis can't do physically? Fucking drive this car right now.
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
Whoa.
No, he can't, of course. You know what? I'm pumping the brakes. I'm with you, Guenther. I think that, he's counting that sweet contract still. The money is still helping.
He's still exploiting new restaurants in Maranello.
That's right.
Maranello,
He's still fucking. It's easing the blow of this Ferrari. The only thing that will really be the knife for him is if this Mercedes next year is winning championships, and he is stuck there in Maranello saying, "I could have had 8, but here I am wearing red." But right now, he's no regrets. Next year, we'll see.
The jury's out till 2026. You're saying?
Yes, I think the jury's out till 2026. Next.
Kimi will be the number 1 driver at Mercedes next year.
Oh, break here. Yeah, you can see he has still to learn. He's 18 years old. Come on. I mean, you need to give the guy a little bit of time to be number 1. I mean, he did a good Miami qualifying, but every start he messed up. George finished on the podium again, and nobody noticed again,
That was because of the safety car. He was lucky. Kimi got screwed because of the safety car.
Don't be there when the safety car is out. He has to learn.
You need to learn, young one. You must learn.
You must learn. Yeah, you must learn. So that's for. But he has got time. He's 18. So if he's number 1 next year at 19, what is he doing when he's 29?
He's going to have 4 championships like he's Max Verstappen or something.
Are you sure about that?
I don't know, but that's the trajectory when you're that young and that good, right?
Yeah, but you need to give yourself time to get there. Otherwise, you stumble. If you run, you fall. And he has got time. He's so young. I mean, sit there and build yourself up, and then be not beaten again. Not try to do more than you can. Don't bite more off than you can chew.
I'm going full gas, accelerata. Okay, because I went to see the documentary a couple days ago, The Seat, okay, with Kimi Antonelli, and Toto Wolff would not stop gushing over this kid. It's like his own son. He's throwing it into the wall. I think, you know what? I think he's the number 1 driver right now. He destroyed George's car, and Toto was like,
well done, buddy.
Did you see those mini sectors? Wow, that was the fastest FP1, half an FP1 I've ever seen. That was fantastic. This is the greatest thing we've ever seen. This was Lap of the Gods FP1. He is already the number 1 driver, and I think him getting pole. I mean, the Lulu is crazy.
I think you drank the Toto Kool-Aid.
No, I think Toto's drank the Kool-Aid, and because number 1 driver is all about what the boss says, and the boss has seen enough. The sprint pole in Miami in a track he's never seen before. He probably didn't even know what Miami was until he arrived there the other day, except for maybe playing GTA. Okay, it's already happening. I think George is in a lot of trouble.
I'm going break, and here's why. Not because Toto doesn't think he's the number 1. But because George Russell's standing in his fucking way. And I think that, listen, where's Toto's heart? Where's Toto's mind? On Kimi Antonelli, okay? But where will the results be? Don't sleep on George Russell, okay? Kimi has this flashy weekend. Oh, I'm on pole. I am the next great king. Slow the fuck down. Slow your roll. Who got a podium? George motherfucking Russell. George Russell next year will not be prioritized, but he will finish ahead. And therefore, if you're winning, you're number 1 in my book.
Well said.
Next prompt.
Franco Colapinto will replace Jack Doohan in Imola.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. I think slowly, I go on the gas slowly here. I don't want to spin my wheels, but there is too much smoke now. I mean, there's so much smoke now. There must be a fire somewhere. It's like, and in the moment, Jack doesn't do himself any favor. I mean, it's like the rookies, Liam Lawson, and Jack, the 2 guys, which are struggling most as rookies, now started to run into each other, to destroy each other's career as well. It's like, I would sit down with the other guy, which is in the same position as me. And I'm not doing well. I'm a rookie. I'm not doing well. Let's at least not, screw each other over, But could be that I was always giving it until the summer break that Alpine will make a decision. But again, in Miami, I mean, Alpine cannot be happy.
I'm going. This is a rare moment. I'm going to agree with Guenther and go full gas. Full gas. I think
you are full gas. You're not thinking. I said I go slowly.
I think I'm going full gas. I think Franco Colapinto. I think our man Flavio has been licking his lips at an opportunity to put this guy in, and he's been looking for an excuse. And another poor result from Doohan, and I think another crash. I think he's got the excuse he needs to put in that fresh-faced baby of Franco Colapinto, who will also probably cause a lot of damage, but at least will bring a lot of sponsorship.
I'm going gas as well. Will it be Imola? I'm not in these private conversations, but I think it's happening soon. It's happening soon. Doohan had this pressure on him from the beginning of the season. Everyone kind of knew what the situation was. They needed him to rise to the occasion. He has unfortunately not been able to do that. Colapinto, we've seen at least flashes last year. We've had flashes where he was out-qualifying Alex Albon, which we know is difficult to do because Carlos Sainz, even having figured out this Williams seemingly, is having trouble doing it. So I think there's too much money on the table. Will it be in Imola? I don't know, but it's happening soon, baby. Next prompt.
The FIA should change the current racing rules.
Yes, full gas. Should sit down, make make some changes for consistency, with consistency in mind. So not every time we get a different lottery ticket.
Yeah, full gas. I agree with them. Nice.
100% full gas. It shouldn't be that whoever
we don't even want to speak about it anymore. It's so boring.
Who's ever leading at the apex should not have all the rights in the world.
Don't write the rules. We didn't ask you to write the rules. We asked.
No one asked us to do any of this stuff. So we're just
no. But writing the rules. The question was
should they?
Yeah, they should. Yeah, but don't make for them the rules. Let them.
Because
you don't know anything about writing rules. You know, you're just as bad as the people which are doing it now. You know,
what's wrong with the rules we're coming up with? I'm saying if you're slightly ahead at the apex, you should be able to shoot someone on Fifth Avenue.
Right.
You should have to leave some room for the other guy.
Or we should have just go racing. Let's come up with new ideas about rules.
What's your idea?
Yeah,
let go them race. You know, let go them race.
So no penalties.
Yeah.
So you can cut corners.
If it is not done on purpose, penalties. But, this guy was 2 millimeters in front of me, so all these discussions, I don't think they're good for racing.
What series has the best? What series you're like, man, that's how you adjudicate a series?
I think a lot of series, they don't really have got this many rules. And that is what I say. Sometimes less rules is better because then people look after themselves. If we define everything, then we debate or try to find an angle how to use the rule for you, So if you have consistent stewards, they decide if you did wrong or good or wrong, And at some stage, people will start not to run into each other because they damage themselves. If you've got a rule, you say, I was right, therefore I did it, And it's not my fault that it's like sometimes less is more.
I see. So you want it to be playoff basketball.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but anyway,
Basically, they let them kind of play a little bit harder in the playoffs.
Okay.
They don't call as many fouls in the playoffs.
Yeah. But which other race series has got rules like F1? None, correct?
Yeah,
none.
It's too complex, too defined, and then you try to find something which is not defined because then the stewards are never the same. So they have to have the rules to look at them. If you've got consistent stewards, you know what you get. You should know what you get if they're good.
Right.
What they think it's right or wrong.
Well, I had my own ideas, but Gooder doesn't want to hear them. Next prompt.
He's the writer, not you.
Fernando Alonso's age has caught up with him.
Whoa. Break, because I think not his age. His car has caught up with him because the car is bad, guys, So I think we're trying to judge here a guy's talent or what is left of the talent, what we are discussing here, in a car which actually, whoever you put in there cannot show what is possible to do.
Lance Stroll can. He's got 14 points still. Lonzo's 0 points.
L'chaim.
What?
Means to life.
Yeah, but you always have to see how you make them, He makes them with being at the right place, at the right time. Fair play.
Something Kimi Antonelli could learn a thing or two about.
And
apparently.
something Lance Stroll has been doing since birth. Lance Stroll is always in the right place at the right time.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
He was at the right place at the right time. If he was, Jesus, yeah.
I'm going full break. I think Fernando Alonso is not lacking in talent, not lacking in youthful vigor. I think he's lacking in interest. He doesn't have the motivation. You know, he's just kind of like, oh my God, I'm wasting my golden years driving this piece of crap around. I can't believe I've made another bad career decision. Oh my God, Adrian Newey's going to come in and the car's going to be amazing, and then I'm going to get fired. It's going to be another horrible career decision by me. Oh crap, I'm spinning. That's what's happening. He's having that monologue and then he spins. I'm going full break.
I'm going slight gas because Fernando Alonso 10 years ago, even in the shitty car, would not have lost motivation. That guy was a killer. That guy didn't care what car he was in. He was trying to get the best out of every result. It shows that he's losing a little bit of motivation, that he's a little bit tired. He's tired.
He's got to check in at 9.
Going to bed at 9 p.m. These are signs of a man who's aging. The man can only do so much. Do I think if this car all of a sudden is a rocket ship with Adrian Newey's design, that he could, muster up the strength again? I believe that that's still there, but it is worrying to me that it seems like he's a little bit checked out. Worrying to me about the legacy of Mr. Fernando Alonso. And that does it for the perfect segment that is and will always be Gas or Break. All right, Vankahs, this episode is brought to you by BetMGM. Come see what's new at BetMGM. Score bigger when you win with boost tokens, odd boost tokens, and more. Even if your bet doesn't hit, we've got you covered with no sweat tokens. Sign up with BetMGM today and you'll have access to countless betting options, including new look, same-game parlays, teasers, live bets, and so much more. Take advantage of these offerings and be sure to use the bonus code DADDY when signing up to receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. This is an exciting season. Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, who's going to finish? Who's going to win each race? Where's Yuki Tsunoda going to wind up? You can bet on all this with BetMGM, so do it today. Use the bonus code DADDY when signing up, and again, receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. See you out there, Vegas.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 for New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 21 and over only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Guenther, we need your Rockstar and Wanker for the Miami GP. Guenther, who's your rock star for Miami?
Ooh, it's between two. Kimi Antonelli, his favorite, or Toto's favorite, Mats and Toto's favorite, and Oscar Piastri. He did good in the race, Oscar, starting fourth, getting there. In the end, it's about what you bring home, Oscar Piastri it is.
That's a good one. Who's your wanker?
Who is my wanker? Aston Martin.
Aston Martin.
They were bad. They were slow. They were so slow.
They were last.
Yeah.
Do you think they're like tanking like an NFL team or an NBA team? Do you think they're like purposely being bad?
No, I mean, who would be purposely bad? Because in
they get the wind tunnel time for next year.
And putting all resource into 26, do you not think that there's...
That will not make it up, That little bit more wind tunnel time will not make it up.
Yeah, you've gotten the extra wind tunnel time.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't help. No. If you're wanking, you're doing it properly. So, yeah.
Wait a minute. Now, there are reports that Adrian Newey is like not returning texts. He's not returning calls. Like he's not listening. If it has anything to do with this year, he just doesn't care. Do you believe that? Do you believe that Adrian Newey? Isn't that kind of annoying that he won't even if there's a flood in the house and he's just not helping?
I don't think he's not helping. I think he wants to focus on 26 because I think it's more like they took the conscious decision not to waste Adrian's time with his car. Because, I mean, if he does something now until you test it in the wind tunnel, until you produce it, what is it? August, September. So you've got 10 races left, but you lose a lot of good time you can use for next year.
He can't look at it. He can't just look at it.
I'm sure he looks at it and he tells people what he thinks, but he's not putting his full focus on this one. He will be putting his full focus because to understand a new regulation like for next year, that's a job in itself. So his time is better. He will be looking at it and tell the guys what he thinks, but he will not go and do the work, to make this car faster.
How much do you think of an impact he's going to be able to have in 26, having Newey on the team?
I think that will be a big impact because all the teams start now to do their car, and normally where Adrian is very good interpretation of a new regulation. That where he's best because he has got the most of experience of all the guys now in Formula One. In his similar position,
right?
So he can just use that one. He has seen a lot of things other people haven't seen. Like when the ground effect came, he had seen the ground effect before.
Right.
Other people had no idea about ground effect. For them, it was a complete new game, So I think he has got with his experience that is his advantage, his experience and his credibility. If he tells the guys what he wants to see done from the other technical team, they do it because Adrian is saying it.
Do you buy it's going to be more of an engine formula though, and he'll be more made irrelevant like he was in the Mercedes years because it was less aero forward those regs?
Could easily be that in the start is because if you've got 30 horsepower. If you're missing 30 horsepower, you cannot make that one up with aero. So if you've got the weakest engine or the best engine, advantage, weakest engine, disadvantage. So it will be, the engine will be dominating, but normally the engines after 2 years, they should bring them back together because the regulations in place to freeze development. And I think if somebody is far off, he gets more development time and maybe not in the budget cup, but just that he can go do more dyno hours because that is your limitation at the moment. And the dyno hours you need, if you test new fuels and stuff like this, you need to go on the dyno, otherwise you never find out.
What can you tell us about the power rankings of the engines next year? From what we're hearing, Mercedes has the edge. Do you know where Honda's going to be? Do you know where Ferrari? What are the rumors in the rumor mill?
I think it's speculation. It's not even rumor. It's speculation. And going back in from experience, I mean, Mercedes, what they did, what you just mentioned, when the first hybrid engine came, they came out and on top of everyone. So everybody expects Mercedes to be the strongest. I think they've got most experience, but there's a lot of people which were there in them years. They're not there anymore. A lot of them. So we have to consider that one as well. But Mercedes normally these things is very good. Their engine facility. Normally, Ferrari is pretty strong to do these things, but then also you have to think about how much the fuel supplier put in there to develop the fuel, because that is very important. It's a complete new fuel, complete new technology, and you can find a lot in it. It's not like that everybody will have the same fuel. Everybody's going about differently, and to develop fuel, the biggest thing is how much time, money you invest in it to make it.
What's the Renault of fuel versus, the Mercedes of fuel? Like if you had to pick your fuel partner.
I would say Aramco and Petronas put the most effort in to do it. I don't know the people in chemistry which work there who are the best, but normally the people, in chemistry is like you do more, you get more out of it, and that work is not under the budget cap. So more you do, you better should get, because it's coming from the fuel companies. So they are not controlled what they are developing. So
I see.
I would say Aramco being the biggest in the world, they should be putting most in it, so I think they will have a good advantage,
One final question about the Mercedes engine. It's going to be this Mercedes engine seemingly maybe having a leg up, but there's going to be a ton of teams on the grid who are going to be able to use that engine. We've seen what McLaren's been able to do. We've seen the rise of Williams. There's going to be some good teams with good personnel who are going to have this super engine. Do you think it's a done deal that Mercedes will have the edge immediately, or do you think that the McLarens, the Williams of the world will be able to be right? The Alpines of the world will be able to be right there.
In the beginning, when a new engine comes, the works team, call it like this, should have the edge because they develop the engine together with the engine, with the car, with the chassis guys. So the chassis guys tell them the cooling requirements they need. How to split that water against oil cooling and all that stuff. They get information always immediately. Well, if you're a customer, they do all this stuff, and once they've decided what they're going to do, how they're going to do the engine, how it looks, how much it weighs, and all that stuff, they do it, and then you get it a little bit with the lag if you're a customer, and that is what it makes it. Now that McLaren catched up, the first year with Mercedes, they were not where they are now because they need to get used to the engine, they need to get to know, and then the second or third time you do a car with an engine from a supplier, you know what is coming because they change very little. Once the principle is put in place, it stays what it is. So in the beginning, normally the works team has an edge over the customers or should have an edge,
So your BetMGM bet would be on Mercedes in that way?
Yes.
over the customer teams, but not necessarily over.
No, I mean,
Ferrari.
I just also can go by the past, and in the past, Mercedes did the best job because there's nothing else known. I mean, not even they know who is best and who is worst. I don't even think the FIA knows who is doing what here.
Well, we know that Mercedes was like, yeah, we're good with these engine regs. We know Red Bull's been complaining about changing it. We know,
right? But that's not the first time that Red Bull complains about anything.
Well, they complain when they're on the back foot,
exactly. Yeah,
and when they're ahead, they're like, everything's good. So we just from.
But how do they know that? How do they know that they are behind if they don't know what the other ones have got? That's where I take it a little bit. Maybe they struggle, but maybe Mercedes struggles as well, and they are just confident that everybody will have the same problem.
I see.
We don't know because nobody knows what the other one is doing. I don't even think the FIA knows how these engines compare to each other, because all the engine manufacturers keep that very secret about it.
All right. We got some fan questions here for you, Guenther. Okay, this is from Max Verstappen, just had a baby. Julia Hope wants to know, what's the best thing you've learned from your daughter, Greta?
Oh, no. What did
you learn from her? To do little dances in your front yard?
Yeah, to be sillier than I'm without her, Yeah, no.
Sillier.
No, sillier, yeah.
Yeah.
No, to have good fun with her. I mean,
That's
it's your kid. It's your kid. You love it,
You love it?
You love her.
It's like a pet?
What?
She's like a pet. I love it. I love it.
Okay, this is from F1 by Jay. Do you think there should be a 12th team on the grid and they should make the cars smaller? Little two-parter.
The cars will get smaller next year.
Are they small enough?
I mean, we cannot have Lego cars,
Well, I was watching those. I mean, those were more
They
entertaining.
seem to be having a good time. Everyone seemed to love that more than even love the race, the Lego
exactly.
cars.
It just took forever. But anyway, no, I think the cars, how they get next year, an F1 car needs to have a certain, because otherwise you don't get the performance out. If the car is too small, you cannot get the aero out. You cannot get the downforce if it's too small.
Right, but when you see the F1 Academy cars and they're like 9 wide, you're like, whoa, what if we got back to those sizes again? But it just
but then they would slower. They would be a lot slower, because otherwise you cannot get the speed because you cannot get the downforce. I mean, you cannot just have power because then you're just spinning wheels.
Do you have a favorite era of F1 car?
70s. From the looks, just cool, and the engines, it's just cool. But I would say it was a complete different era,
Like the Hunt Lauda years.
Yeah, exactly. The what was it called? The T4 or T3.
Probably the year you finished best for Haas. What was that? 6th?
Fifth.
Whoa. Fifth, dude.
Fifth. Fifth. Yeah,
that was the best era.
No, I wouldn't say the best looking car was ours, not the best era. Yeah, the best looking era of a car.
Well, speaking of things that are good looking, let's talk about your style this week, Guenther. You were rocking your Pelote shoes and you were looking fresh.
Yeah, I'm looking fresh. Even if I walked on the weekend, I don't know how many steps I did this weekend, going from one place to the other, and I all walked it.
Yeah.
I all walked it. Didn't take the golf cart like you guys would do.
We wanted to. They wouldn't let us.
So you had to walk as well.
We walked.
We walked as well.
I've got bruises on my shoulder from lugging around gear for an hour trying to get out of the fucking Miami GP.
You know that there is people doing this for a job. In the army, for example,
Yeah, but I didn't sign up for the army.
But you need to be a tough guy, like them, So that's my expectation.
In many ways, I am an Army Ranger for attempting to get my podcasting equipment out of the Miami Grand Prix.
This was our Vietnam. Right.
But wait, you took tens of thousands of steps over the week, and how'd your Pelote shoes hold up?
My shoes held up good, and my feet held up good. I mean, the shoes is one thing, they held up, but my feet, it's important, so they held up very good,
That's right. And were you getting anyone complimenting your?
Yes.
Yeah.
A few people said cool shoes, Guenther.
I think I heard that Lewis Hamilton walked by and said, "Hey, Guenther, nice Pelote shoes."
No, he would say, "I want them. Give it to me. Give me your Pilates shoes."
And as someone in the carbon fiber business, so you got to appreciate the carbon fiber on the side.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe were you bitter? You're like, who wove these for you? I should be weaving these.
I should weave shoes now. That's the last thing I need to do, shoes. Piloti does them a lot better than I ever can do them.
That's right. Well, Piloti was born from a passion for motorsport with roots in designing performance-driven shoes for professional racers and Guenther Steiner alike. Their technology from the Roll Control 2.0 heel technology offering unmatched comfort and pedal feel while keeping you stylish. A well-balanced race car, Piloti shoes are just like that. Track tested, street approved. And if you want your own Piloti shoes like Guenther, myself, Matthew, and soon to be Lewis Hamilton, so the people are saying, you can go to Piloti.com/discount/Vankah and use the code Vankah, VANKAH, for an extra 15% off your order right now. Get on it, Vankahs. Okay, Guenther. We got Imola. Coming up in 2 weeks. We need your predictions. More than you know what? I want more than just who's going to win the race, who's going to be second, who's going to be third.
You want all 20?
No. But we'll start with there, and then we're going to ask you a few more questions.
Fastest lap, too.
Who do you think's going to be? What's your podium?
Oscar, Lando, Charles.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the next question. Where do you think Kimi Antonelli and George Russell are finishing? Between the two of them, who's finishing ahead of who?
George is ahead of Kimi.
Okay.
Because he's number one in the team. Yeah.
That's right.
For now.
Matt?
I'm going to go Oscar, Lando, Kimi Antonelli.
I'm going to go Lando. I'm going to keep saying this until it happens. Lando, Kimi, George Russell. I think that Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen get into a little tussle. How about that?
How about your crystal ball?
Yeah, people can say anything, when they have a microphone in their hands. Okay, this was Vankah Hours. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. We will be here every Wednesday following race weeks, plus more. Thank you, Guenther. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Miami. Goodbye, Vankahs.
Goodbye, Wankers.
Goodbye, Vankah.